Hey, how's it going? This is Johnny and welcome to the channel. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was very unrealistic. Very unrealistic. I was always that kid who had a lot of potential but didn't know how much time, energy, and effort it really took.
Sir, please don't litter. That's against the rules of the building.
Machine, you will refer to me as Hopkins and nothing else. So as a kid, I wanted to be a comic book artist. I wanted to go from comics, animations, grow, this empire, and slowly but surely, I got to see how difficult it really is. Not to be discouraged and not to say that it's not possible. As someone that's new to something, you don't see the pieces and how things really get put together to become successful. So real quickly, before we get too deep into the video, I want to say thank you to the fourth quarter for leaving a great comment about the art we have on the channel. And if you too want to be a part of our future videos, make sure that you leave a comment. And if we like it, just maybe, we'll add it in. So if you are into these kind of videos, these art tutorials, breaking everything down, learning how to make money off your art, making it more professional, gaining clients, this is the channel for you. We're all about growing, learning, and expanding on your information and your skills. So make sure you subscribe, because if you don't, I'm gonna know about it. I'm gonna know. So I started working on my comic book, I started working on the art, and unfortunately I went to do too many things at once. I told a lot of friends and families about this, people started supporting it, and it never was released. My first issue was I didn't know how much time it took. So I was drawing, but I was working full time. So I would come home after work and work on my art. But unfortunately, because I was working full time in sales and marketing, it really took 10 to 12 hours every day of me working. So by the time I got home, I was a bit tired. By the time I got home, not every day I drew. So some weeks and some months, I didn't spend enough time working on my craft. I was doing it as a part-time, if that makes sense. I wasn't doing it often enough. So even though I spread it out throughout a year or so, it just didn't work properly. By the time I was drawing, I was tired. I wasn't using my time effectively, juggling relationships with people, friends, family, or all the things in between. You have all of these hats you gotta put on. And coming up with a true schedule is gonna help you, and being a little more realistic so you don't fall on your face and be discouraged by what you're lacking or what the lack of your efforts really are. So I don't want you to realize, or I don't want you to think that you can't do it. I want you to come up with a schedule. So because I was drawing some months on and off and more often than others, my art wasn't consistent. So when you're drawing a project for about a year or 6 to 9 months, just think about how many gaps in information, all of the gaps in skills that you're having. So some months your art looks really good. Other months it doesn't look as good. Other months it looks a little janky. So you see how it's like these up and down hills that you're going through with your creative process. So sometimes your art is good, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's in between, and that causes friction in what you're doing. So you're going back to try to fix something and you're not really moving forward. So having that true schedule is going to help you. Also, having other people around you, even if you have to pay them. And let's be honest, a lot of artists would do things for the low, like the low. So even if you pay for other people to help you, try to do so. Get more support. Having one person do it all is very difficult. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it takes more time when you don't put other people around your project. Imagine someone trying to run a company by themselves. I don't even think that's possible for the most part. You need a team. You need people to help you do multiple things. So understand that. Also, as an artist, don't think that the tools that you're getting is going to change everything. The tools are tools for a reason. If you gave a rookie a tool that they never used before, they're not going to use it the same way someone who has more experience will. So understand that you don't have to go out and spend all the money on all the biggest devices. I have devices that cost thousands and thousands of dollars that I don't use to this day. But the devices that are more comfortable, that was much more cheaper, which were a lot less money being put into it that I could have put into other things, I'm using those devices versus the Wacom Cintiq companions that I just have to the side. They're worse than the workout equipment that you use as a shelf, because they're underneath something, not even, they're not even holding any purpose. So don't think that the tools that you have is going to change the whole story. You using the tools change the story. You are the designer, the architect, the person putting it all together. You create the blueprint. So understand that you don't need to waste your money on all of these things. You don't need to waste your time. If we become more effective without spending as entrepreneurs, we can put back into what we're doing. We can get smarter. We can get people to help us edit. We can get people to help us write. We can get people to help us illustrate. You can even get people to help you color certain things if need be. If you have a comic book series, maybe you want the cover of it colored. Maybe that costs $100 to $150, depending on the colorist and their skills. So because of that, what you do is you save a little money to the side. You don't spend all your dollars. You use some of it. Even into this room that you see, it's all about putting it all together and making it work for you. Your space has to work from you, from the sound panels, from the microphone and the things, the lights, all of these things, the table, you know, the iPads that each alone costs, you know, $1,500. 500 on one. So it goes to show you all of these things add up. All of the costs add up. But what you got to do is build slowly. You can't be discouraged by what everyone else have. You have to use what they have as a measuring stick, as in, don't look at it as if I don't have this, I'm not on their level. You might be just as skilled as them. They might have put their money to more use than you have. So maybe you guys have the same skill and you're learning what they have and you put some of it in your office and then you put your own things. You don't have to make your space like other people's. When you're working on your comic, when you're working on your art, a lot of times we compare ourselves. Comparison is not the bad thing. What becomes the bad is when you don't use the comparisons properly, when you don't use them as blueprints or guides, as help. You're using them as a crutch, not as a stepping stool. You got to use the people around you, the other artists you know, the influencers, the other creators, the big time people, using what they're doing, what they've learned to speed up what you're doing. And so you don't make the same mistakes twice, or you don't make the same mistakes they do. Now, there are many things that you can work on. If you're someone who isn't really good at sequential art, you can practice the little things, you can work on the details. If you're someone that doesn't focus very well, you can still get supportive people around you to encourage you. You can use your social media as leverage for you to stay focused. There are a lot of little things that happen when you're coming up with a comic book. There's a lot of time that you got to put into each page. Some people work a little quicker than others. For me personally, it takes me between 10 to about 15, 20-ish hours per page, just because I like to put a decent amount of detail in it. And also, I'm just not the fastest artist. So I know that about myself, and I got to put that time to the side. I would say for a unique or just a good artist, if you can produce 12 pages a month, that's amazing for the most part. 15, 20 pages is a lot, but 12 is a good number. If you can produce those pages on time, giving people what they like without dropping in quality, you are golden. You are phenomenal. But remember, it's about pacing yourself. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You hear that term a lot, but for those who've fallen fast and hit their face, they'll tell you. You got to take your time and you got to know and learn what you don't know. You got to see the things that you need to work on and take small steps in small strides to work on those things. And over time, it'll definitely help you. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share the video. If you're into these videos, we have plenty more to come. You know, letting us know how you feel in the comment sections can put you into one of our future videos. So make sure that you do that and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And as you can see, we have two videos on the screen, one suggested by YouTube, one suggested by us. Click on one of the two videos and, you know, we'll catch you over there because, you know, we likes you. We likes you. You're cool like that. See you in a second.